Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Wrench Warriors DIY. In today's show, we're going to show you how to save between $1 and $300. I'm going to show you how to fix your outside tap that's leaking. This one here is a Woodford outside tap, and most people, when they have this issue, they're thinking they have to go inside and cut sheetrock open and all that stuff, and that's not the case. And I'm going to show you how to fix that today, so make sure you stay tuned. Well, the wind's blowing a little bit out here, guys, so hopefully it's not moving the camera too much or messing with my audio, but we're going to keep rolling. But in the meantime, if you guys like these videos and you feel like they're giving you some good value, make sure you like and subscribe, and just know that we'll always have links to all of our stuff that we're showing in our videos so that you can click through and buy the exact parts and the material that we're using to get these jobs done right. This is a Woodford outside tap. Pretty popular brand. I use a lot of these when I'm plumbing houses. The main thing that I see with people when they have issues, they'll call me in the spring and they're like, oh, I have a leak in my basement. Something's wrong with my outside tap. And I go, and what happens is in the fall, when it starts getting cold, if you live in a cold climate, is that people leave the hose connected to the outside tap. And then when you shut it off, it doesn't allow that water to drain out of that stem. And so it'll end up freezing back in that stem, and it splits the copper. So then in the spring, what happens is people come out, they come out and turn on their outside tap, and they're out here watering their lawn and stuff, and they're still getting water. But what they don't realize is in the downstairs, there's like a split in their copper that's about this big, and it's just shooting into their ceiling. And usually it causes a lot of damage if you're not careful. So my advice is always to pull the hose off the outside tap in the winter and make it so that it can't freeze up. Well, let's get to fixing this. All right, guys, I've zoomed in on the faucet a little bit so you can see it better. Like always, our first step is to shut off the water inside the house. And then you want to open this up and make sure it has no pressure on it. And you want to make sure you open this handle up all the way. Okay, because what it is, there's a long stem in there, and there's a rubber thing that pushes against the back of the hose bib. And so in order to get this loosened, you need to have that turned on. Otherwise, that rubber is going to keep pressure against the back of the hose or the hose bib. So in order to work on this outside tap, you're going to need a flathead and a couple pair of pliers. And I just get a flathead and I take this handle off. Like that. Set this off to the side. Get a backup pair of pliers so you can hold this from spinning inside. You don't want to spin it inside and break anything. And undo this nut right here with your other set of pliers. Pull that right off, put it with the handle. And then inside here, there's a thick piece of rubber, and I'll show you this real quick. So that's what it's looking like inside this handle. And you can see there's a thick piece of rubber that goes all the way around that stem. Behind the rubber at the back of the stem, there's 3 or 4 threads that hold the stem in. In order to get it out, you will need to grab the stem with your pliers and turn it counterclockwise 3 or 4 times. Then it should pull straight out. And then grab the stem and just keep acting like you're turning the tap on. You do that a few times and it pulls that rubber out even a little bit more. Once you get that rubber thing to pop out. Okay. It's going to feel like a little bit of, you're going to feel a little pressure on the back side. And all it is suction from the rubber that's inside there. So you're not going to break anything. Just start pulling that out. Okay, and it's going to want to suck back. It'll suck right back in with that pressure. But pull that out of here. Hold the outside tap and pop it out. All right, we got the stem out. And the most common thing you're going to find is there's some type of a groove or a cut in this big fat washer at the back right here that's pushing against the back of the outside tap. And that's what's sealing your water off, and when it gets a cut, it'll allow water to get by there. You can spend a lot of time trying to track that down and fix that washer, but I find it's easier just to measure outside tap and replace it with one that's brand new. So I'm going to measure from rubber to rubber, basically. From this rubber to the rubber up here. All right, I'm going to measure those two measurements. And that's 12 inches. So my outside tap is 12 inches. All right. So what I would do is I would get a new outside tap. Okay. That's 12 inches. And you're going to just do the same thing you did on this new outside tap. Like I was showing you before. There's that rubber O-ring. And as you just put this in there and twist it out, it helps pull that O-ring out. And then you can pop it out. All right. So you got your new stem. All right, guys. Mine's not broke and it wasn't leaking, so I'm going to just put my old stem back in and save the new one for later. But pretend this is your new stem that you just got out of your other outside tap. You're just going to put that back in. Push it in there. All right, you can take this. You can take the flathead and push that washer back in a little bit. But then you got to take your pliers again and remember those threads at the back. You got to twist, put a little pressure up with your thumb right at the front there. And just twist that on to those threads. All right. Okay, the outside tap is off now. And it's threaded on in the back. So I take and push that rubber in a little bit more with a flathead. Put that nut back on. Like I say, you can hold it with your hand if you're strong enough. If not, just get a backup on that. Snug that up on that washer. Don't over tighten it, just snug it up. All right. When you put your handle on, just make sure that it turns on, turns off all right. Take and tighten your handle back on so it's nice and snug. Looks like the screws on the side of mine are coming a little loose, so I'm going to tighten those back up. Well guys, that's how you change out the stem on your Woodford outside tap. Nothing too crazy, something you can do yourself, you just got to know how to do it. Hopefully this video shows you a step-by-step process, and you feel comfortable doing it, and it will save you between $100 and $300 calling somebody out to do it for you. The cool thing about fixing it like this is you don't have to go inside and cut sheetrock and try and change out the whole stem or the whole outside tap. I hope this video helps you out, and like I say, guys, if you need these materials, please click through to our website, order up what you need, and we appreciate you guys watching Wrench Warriors DIY. We'll catch you on the next one.